Hi everyone, I am Dr Ibrahim from City Skin Clinic, and today I'm going to talk to you about non-surgical brow lift options. This is a treatment that's actually quite popular, but not a lot of people know what the different treatment options are. And you've probably seen a lot of videos and different posts on Instagram and on the internet. So I'm just going to attempt to go through all the common questions that we get from our patients, so that to give you an idea of what procedures are available and also what we offer, and what they're good for, and also what they're not suitable for. So first of all, why might someone want a brow lift? So in my experience in our clinic, the reasons that people want to come in are usually if they feel that their brows are heavy or downturning. This is usually something with age. As people start to kind of get a little bit older, they feel that their face isn't being framed as well with their brows. At the kind of extreme end of that, people might have drooping of the brows, but also some excess skin around there. And also another reason people want to do something about their brows is if they have hooded eyes and they just want to give the appearance of just a bit more open brow. It's a variety of different reasons, but I'd say the biggest one is just a feeling that the brows are a little bit downgoing. Of course, more recently and among slightly younger patients, there's been a trend that people kind of like the more, I guess, fox shape eye and fox shape brow. We don't get as much of that because our clientele are kind of a little bit older and want a more natural looking result that's not completely different from what they're used to, but that's another reason that people think about a brow lift. So whatever your reasons are for wanting a brow lift, there are a few different options. Some of them are surgical options and non-surgical options, and knowing which option to go for is very personal. It depends on a number of things, including what your desired outcomes are and what your face and brow shape are like. So I'll start with the surgical option, which isn't something we offer at our clinic, but this is something that is available from any kind of reputable plastic surgeon or any ocular plastic surgeon. So a surgical brow lift would involve sort of either removing excess skin and pulling up the brow. It may be done directly with a cut, or it can be done minimally invasively with a little camera, especially when it's done as part of a facelift. This is usually a day case procedure. It's very, very technically, high skilled, and you should only really go to someone who does these procedures regularly, but it can provide a really beautiful result, and it's really great, particularly if you're someone with a lot of excess skin. It's also really good if you're looking for a longer term result, so it will last for several years. Obviously, if you get older, this greater sagging of the skin, then you may need to revise that, but it is a much longer term option to go for. That being said, it is a surgical procedure, and it does involve some downtime, and it also is obviously much more expensive than non-surgical options, at least initially, in terms of what to pay. If you're thinking of surgical procedures, start by looking for surgeons that perform these treatments. I'll leave a link to all of these at the bottom, but Real Self is a really good place to start. Also, you can look at your local association, your National Association for Surgeons. So in the UK, BAPRAS and BAPS, these are for aesthetic plastic surgeons and reconstructive surgeons, and so that's a good place to kind of have a look. And in the US, the American Association of Plastic Surgeons, and like I mentioned, also ocular plastic surgeons, who are eye doctors, eye surgeons. They also perform this procedure. Like anything surgical or non-surgical, it's really important to do your background reading. It's really important to book a consultation and have a thorough discussion. Every single procedure, regardless of how simple it is, if something's happening to your face, it's really important that you have a detailed consultation and have a personalized plan that meets your specific needs and goals, as well as what can be done with your face. In terms of non-surgical options, luckily there are quite a few different options. Botox and or fillers is what we perform at our clinic, and I'd say these are two of the most popular procedures for this area. Botox on its own can provide a lift to the brow. It's nice, it's subtle, but you can gently lift the brow, and you can also open out, so kind of adjust the shape ever so slightly. So if your brows are kind of going inwards and they're drooping, you can increase the arch, and you can also lift the tail of the brow. It's a beautiful but very subtle result. It's great for very minor kind of brow drooping problems, but it can be a really nice overall treatment for opening out the eye. Fillers are great if you want to do a bit more, so if you really want to do a little bit more in terms of shaping the brow, and also if you have a really hooded eye or a lot more skin. The reason for that is whilst Botox works by relaxing the muscle fibers that pull the brow down, fillers will act like a scaffold and support the brows themselves, and with that you can also provide more of a lift than Botox does on its own, and you can also shape the brow a lot more. So this is a perfect solution, like I mentioned before, if you need a little bit more of a result, and if you've got a bit more hooding or a bit more of a droopy brow. And the third option which we offer is a combination of Botox and filler. This is our combined master brow lift. And it's really designed so that both these treatments work with each other. The Botox will prevent kind of that muscle activity that pulls the brow down constantly, whilst the filler will help achieve a greater lift, but also allow you to change or reshape the brow to a shape that kind of is natural looking, but more to your taste and your style. And then other treatments that you may have heard of we don't offer is the thread lift. So people can use threads that will then lift the brow upwards, and that's something that we're seeing a lot, especially on social media. It's popular for people who want that kind of fox eye look. It's not a treatment that we offer for various reasons. It's not something that we feel is perhaps the best course of treatment, but it is available, and again, Real Self is a great platform to look at for more information about this, and I'll leave some links at the bottom for more info about the different ways that we can do a brow lift. And then finally, there are also treatments that involve lasers or Ultherapy that can kind of tighten the skin and work by creating these micro injuries that then push up the skin, and these are also quite effective. Again, they're a lot more useful if you have a lot of perhaps sagging of skin, and also around the face as well. The best treatment is really dependent on what your current brow shape is, what your expectations are, and obviously things like budget and how much downtime you're prepared to have and how long an effect you are. We generally recommend reviewing all of your options. We're big fans of Botox and or filler brow lift, just because it gives a really natural looking result. It's also a great way to try to see whether a subtle effect is enough for you, or whether you would prefer something more involved like surgery in the longer term as well. And of course, if you're not quite ready for non-surgical or surgical options, or if you want both surgical or non-surgical, but the issue that you have is with actually the hair, distribution of hair, or the amount of hair or lack of in the brows, then microblading is a great option. It's something worth looking at, and it's permanent, semi-permanent tattooing. If you go to someone who's very skilled, you can achieve a really close look in terms of color and in terms of the fineness of the strokes to normal brows. And it's a great solution, again, if lack of, if it's something to do with hair, or if you're having reservations about trying anything that is slightly more invasive than that. Again, I've left some articles below, including one we've done about microblading. It's not a service that we obviously provide, but we see aesthetics as a whole, and it reaches into both medicine and beauty, and sometimes you need to combine both to get the best result. So guys, I thought I would keep this short and sweet, just as a general intro to different options. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions about different brow lift options, or if you want me to make other videos addressing this or any other issues. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notifications. We'll be putting a lot more videos up in future, so that you don't miss any. And obviously, if you can like and give us a thumbs up, that would be great, if you didn't like it. And if you don't like it, you can just move on to another video. Just kidding. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.